Hey guys, so this morning Square Enix gave a little surprise in the form of a Final Fantasy VII Remake demo, which they announced and released at the same time. So it's been available for 5 or 6 hours and I've already played through it entirely, and it's, roughly 1 hour and a half long. I've uploaded a video of it without comment, so check it out if you want. Or, just download the demo if you have a PlayStation 4. So in this video, I'm gonna give you my first impressions of the gameplay, the combat system, the presentation, graphics, voice acting, and so on. So let's get right to it. In terms of the combat system, the way it works is you mash square to perform a basic combo, or you hold square to perform a sweeping AoE attack. Now, what caught me off guard is that there is a stance change for Cloud where you press triangle and you go into a more damage focused stance mode where your mobility is extremely reduced. In the other mode you can walk around and walk up to enemies or run up to them and hit them. In this mode you have to be very close to an enemy, because otherwise moving is basically not an option. The combat system is very reminiscent of Final Fantasy XV. If you've played that game, you're probably gonna like this. This doesn't have all the warping around, of course, and it's slightly different, but overall it feels pretty much the same. During any fight, you gain active battle points as you fight. Performing combos or blocking and stuff like that fills up your active battle point gauge. When you can have up to 2 gauges filled, and they allow you to pause and perform a special action, which can be, using an item, casting a spell, or using a special skill, like a special attack or something. You can always pause, but you can only use stuff when you have active battle points available. So you can't just spam potions or something whenever you want. Magic consumes MP, which is pretty standard, and overall, especially in the first fights, you're pretty much just mashing square. After that, it really does seem to get into the whole concept of balancing your different party members, making sure that you issue commands to them to perform special attacks on certain enemies or cast certain spells to make sure to exploit their weaknesses. And there's also a pressured and staggered mechanic going on, where if you start attacking an enemy, he will go into a pressured mode where a bar will start filling up, and after that, if the bar is filled, he'll go into stagger, and while staggered he'll take additional damage. So the way you can trigger that is by either attacking their weaknesses or just like mashing onto them. This was certainly the basics of the boss fight at the end, and the mini boss fight with the bipedal robot with the Robocop looking thing. Both fights I thought were really good, and it really does look incredible when you pause and you're selecting an item or something. It doesn't slow down 100%. It goes into this like bullet time, but extreme bullet time mode, where everything is like slowly creeping on. Final Fantasy XV was the same way, and it still looks incredible. So overall, as far as RPGs go, especially JRPGs, this combat is pretty fun to use, and it's pretty solid. It's not, it's nowhere near something like Devil May Cry or stuff like that, like character action combat systems like God of War, or it's not that. It's much more reduced, but it's still fun to use, and it's strategic in a way, the way that you use your active battle points to perform different skills and use your magics. In terms of exploration, there isn't much going on apart from maybe finding some boxes and chests that are hidden, but there is no jump button. You can, vault over some obstacles, but it doesn't seem like you'll be, climbing and finding secrets in that way, but rather just exploring a very basic level layout. So that's, I don't know, I wish there was more to it, I wish you could jump and move around a bit with more freedom, but you know, it's fine, I guess. But it does seem, at least at this time, it's very linear. That would probably change once the game opens up. Maybe exploration comes from just opening, you know, exploring the open world once you get to that part. But I don't think that's going to be in this game, but rather in like episode 2, because remember that this is episodic. The first game seems to be focusing solely on Midgar City, and I think there's a problem with that, not only in terms of the amount of content that might be available in the game at the end, but also with the camera system. The camera system is perhaps the worst part about the entire experience I had with this demo. You know, it's just not good. The field of view is too narrow, you can't really see what's around you, and that means that in combat with smaller units and with many units, you don't really see what's going on. It's very easy to lose track of enemies, and it's also very hard to find them because you can fling the screen around, but if they're jumping or something, chances are they might end up on the other side, and then you have to turn around again. It's not the best, and you know, compounding that is the fact that multiple times I had the screen, you know, go into a wall or something and obstruct my view considerably, especially when dealing with verticality or with larger units. It needs a lot of work, I think. It's still, you know, some months before the game releases, so I hope they can work on whatever it is that it is currently limiting the field of view, but otherwise I would definitely wait and play this on PC. If PC, you know, PC will either get an adjustable field of view or more likely like some mod or something to do it on your own, because I doubt they will support that natively. But yeah, anyway, the camera system is bad, and in a long game I think you will feel it, and it will remain a problem through the entire game. Apart from that, the overall, you know, look and feel of the game is really good. The graphics are really well done. The character models are extremely detailed. They look kind of realistic, but also, you know, kind of anime in a way. And I think they pretty much nailed the aesthetic. The voice acting is surprisingly good. Japanese developers don't tend to have the best, you know, English voice acting, and in this case it's fine. It's not, you know, incredible. It's not like Witcher 3 levels of amazing or anything, but it's pretty solid. But it is kind of jarring because it all looks, you know, extremely realistic, but then the characters, the way that they react and everything is so over the top and so exaggerated that I think that worked better, or works better, when the game is more like cartoony looking. Especially, you know, if you think about the original, the graphics were all blocky and stuff like that. And now seeing that type of reactions from, you know, this big ass, you know, Barrett dude, the way he looks, it almost feels like you're watching some sort of like wrestling program, you know? And you might like that. I don't think, I would prefer if it were more, you know, serious or not as exaggerated. But that's just me. But in terms of the presentation overall, I think, you know, it looks incredible. I think it's definitely one of the things they're focusing more on. And in terms of performance, it runs well, but it doesn't run like incredibly well. I definitely felt some frame drops here and there, so you know, that might get fixed in the release version. As I said, it's still, you know, a ways off. But yeah, overall, I'm not really surprised by this, by the demo. It's kind of what I expected, you know. It's solid. It's not incredible. It's not the best game. It doesn't do everything, you know, super well, but it has a decent combat system which is fun to use, and which will probably get more fun when you get more abilities, more companions for your party, more skills, and so on. The boss fight in the end was really good. I do miss some of the music, like the battle ending music is like sorely missing because there is no battle end screen. It just flows into gameplay, and I kind of wish that there was like a menu toggle option or something. I think that would be really fun. Now the weird thing is that there is no materia menu in this demo, and you can clearly see, if you look at Cloud's sword, you can clearly see it has 2 materia slots and 1 green materia in one of those slots, and the other one is empty. And I believe that's the way you start in the original game. So, but you don't have access to that in this demo. I don't know if you don't have access to that in this part of the game, or if it's just missing from the demo. If it's just missing from the demo, then that seems like, you know, a problem or something. But if they keep the materia system, you know, kind of faithful to the original, and you can see the slotted materia in your weapon, I think that would be really cool. So yeah, I just want to see, you know, more of this, more of the summons, the magic spells, the skills, the other party members. At $60, and considering you only get like a part of the original game, I'm not sure it's going to be the best value, but it's definitely going to be a solid game. If you really like the original, you know, definitely try out the demo, of course, but you're probably going to like the game. I think it's a question of the amount of content that it will have upon release, and in terms of that, I'm kind of worried that they might pad the intro section or the Midgar section of the game just so they can get the most out of the assets that they've created for this portion of the game. So that has me really worried. You know, there's not a lot of info on how many episodes there will be, how long the game will be, and that's incredibly concerning, because if it's going to be, you know, 5 episodes or something, each of them at $60, then that's definitely going to be too much for this game. Even if it's 3, which it most definitely feels like it's going to be at least 3, then, you know, that feels kind of a rip-off in my opinion, because, you know, Final Fantasy 15 was a huge game that was $60, and this feels like it's going to be, you know, incredibly small in its scale in terms of what you expect from Final Fantasy VII, you know. So yeah, that's my main concern. Yeah, there's no question this is going to be a solid game. It's just a question of value, you know, how much you're getting for those $60. Okay, so that's going to be all. If you have any questions about this, please leave them below in the comment section. If you like the video, give it a like. Check out the other videos on the channel. Consider subscribing. That's all for now. Thanks for watching, and I'll catch you in the next one.